When preparing your resume, it is best to be as clear and concise as possible. So I usually tell my students to possibly look at a job description of the job that they had held previously, and you want to translate that right into your resume. So it's very clear and use descriptive words. Always start each bullet point with an action word. So you just want to make sure you have all that information and show it to someone that has no idea what your background was to see if they can actually tell what you did in your jobs.
I believe that when preparing a resume, it's always a good thing to look at the job description for the job you're applying for and to make sure that you try to tailor your resume to that specific job. So if it's saying you will have this official job duty as part of the job you're applying for, make sure that in ways you try to incorporate or you try to show where you have experience in doing that sort of job duty before. It's also helpful, I think, to consider using any particular buzzwords in your particular field. Like if you're working in a technology field, off the top of my head, like using words like e-media, because a lot of folks are talking about e-media these days. So if you can incorporate buzzwords that are relevant to your particular field in your resume, I think that's also helpful.
Civic engagement or service learning, as you might call it, on your campus is definitely another great way to build skill sets. So if you're looking to get into a field and you really don't have time to commit to a full-time internship, getting those volunteer hours is very key, and that's another excellent resume builder. That's definitely something you want to include in your resume. And it's best if you can do it ongoing. So it's not something where you just volunteer one time, but it's something where you actually have a commitment to an organization. So that way they can give you more responsibilities while you're volunteering and things like that. So you might just think of typically volunteering of going to the food bank or something like that. But civic engagement is kind of going beyond that. So you might be an excellent person at using Excel and building spreadsheets, and they're just kind of lacking in that department in their accounting department. You have time to do that, but you can't get a full-time internship. You can work with different agencies, and that is part of volunteering and civic engagement as well. It doesn't have to be just those typical, volunteer hours. It can really go beyond that, where you're actually like building your resume.